the reason I went on the Herbalife was for the nutrition aspect of things, for a health reason, and I've had these wonderful weight loss benefits of the 10 kgs, of course.
Yeah.
But just the energy, and I can feel my body's a lot healthier, and I'm a lot happier.
Yeah.
You know? I'm a nice person, but there are times that I was a little bit moody, so it certainly has helped in that aspect of things. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Hi, Joanna.
Hey guys.
hello, Mark.
The sweating.
Have you just come out of the gym?
Oh my
You're glowing.
Yes.
You're glowing.
Yeah, I patted myself down with a towel quite a lot.
Okay, no worries at all. Well, guys,
Hi,
I make it 7 o'clock in New Zealand, 4 o'clock here, so we're going to get into it. So just welcome everybody, and we are very, very honoured to have this gorgeous, gorgeous Australian lady on the Zoom, and we've asked her to get on just to talk to you, a couple of ladies, or 3 ladies. Hi, Summer. About her journey, because I think a lot of people, when they hear Joanna's story, they just can't figure out how the hell did she fit it all in? How does she, manage it? So she'll tell a story, and then at the end, I've got about 3 or 4 questions to ask, which I'm going to ask, and then if you guys want to ask her any questions, please feel free. So again, thank you so much, Joanna. I know you've literally just come back from the gym, and I know that in about an hour you've got to go pick up the kids. So, ladies and gentlemen, President's team member Joanna, over to you.
Hey, Joanna.
Thank you for asking me. Always, I love when someone asks me, because it means that my story has obviously made an impact to some degree, right? But hey, ladies. Joe, I can remember your name well. Michelle, I'll remember your name really, really well, because one of my best team members is called Michelle, so I can remember you easy. We've got Justin coming on as well. So I hear that, is it Michelle and Joey that you guys have serving husbands or FIFO?
Yeah, I do. I've got one in the Air Force.
Air Force, wicked. And what about you, Joe?
No, he's not in the forces anymore.
So you used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked. Awesome. So Dan actually got into the army probably, I think it was about 2 weeks into us dating, right? So, and I remember,
Great timing.
Great timing, right? And, well, you know how they say, distance grows the heart fonder, right? So maybe that was the trick, because he made me miss him. Anyway, so when he actually did that, this is a side note, but I don't know if you guys can say, but I actually grew up with a dad who was not FIFO as traditionally it is now. He's a civil engineer, so he would work usually in always international. It was never domestic. And so when he went away, it would be for at least a month, but it would be usually 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then home for the month. Or do you know what I mean? That's kind of how it was. So I grew up with a dad that was away for most of the important things, if you know what I mean, as a kid. And so I actually subconsciously made the decision I didn't want that. So when Dan actually got into the army, this is 2 weeks into dating, guys, and I was only 16. And I remember I said to him straight up, I was like, what do you want to do with yourself? What's your career path? And I said, what's this army thing all about? And he goes, oh, my dad's in the army, so it's just something I'm going to do. But no, I'm studying business at university. I want to do something business. And I was like, okay, so you don't want to work away or anything? What's the deal? And he was like, no. I'm going to do something businessy. And I was straight up, good, because I'm just being honest. I personally don't want to be with someone who's going to be away, because it's just not my thing. It's not how I want to live, right? And he tricked me, and he said no, this is going to do business. And then about 2 years into us living together, the whole thing, he came over and he's like, yeah, I want to go full time. And I was like, Anyway, so I was tricked into that life. And I wasn't in Herbie just yet. And pretty much when he started declaring that his goals had changed and things was pretty much when I did get started in the business. So I was 2 weeks off my 20th birthday. think it was, or my 19th birthday when I got started in Herbie. So I did not have kids. I was just full-time law and psychology university student, and I was also working in clothing retail stores. I was working with barristers 20 hours a week on criminal trials. That was kind of my life. So he was like away with the army lots, and then I'd be dealing with like murders and just lovely things on my end. And I actually was quite depressed looking back. I wasn't having a happy time with my life there. But Herbalife kind of became that like happy place that I could kind of set some goals that were up to me. Do you know what I mean? Like at university, it was like, this is what you have to study. This is the lecture. This is the exam. And there was no props for it. You know, there was no recognition. It was never good enough, you know, that kind of thing. My retail job, believe it or not, was like the worst at crushing you, just where I was anyway. Nothing was ever good enough. I always get told off. Like Mark knows this. I still get told off to some degree now. But I am just that person that always gets told off. Like I'm always trying to do my best, but I get told off a lot. So even if I had a great day at the retail job, there would have been something I got majorly told off for. And so that's just kind of the environment. So I guess when I got started in Herbie, we were getting like recognition for stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? Like I'm not used to this because I'll work really hard in other things and never see the light of day. And then over here, you know, I move up a level and they're giving me all this stuff. So I quite enjoyed that, you know. But cut a long story short, we actually became young parents, and we had like found out that we were becoming young parents one day after we signed for our first house. And it was like I was young, like did not expect it at all. It was right after I secured my articles with my law degree. So I was going to be like, I secured a firm that I was going to be working with. And it was like all happening at the same time. Family didn't want me to be pregnant, let's put it that way. And a whole bunch of stuff went down, okay? But anyway, we moved on. We became young parents, and we became baroque young parents where I was the stay-at-home mom, breastfeeding 1 million hours a day. And he was working full-time in a corporate industry and doing army. Now, because we were low on cash, he picked up as much army work as he could. And I was doing little extra things here and there, as well as Herbie, as well as obviously being the full-time mum. And we came to this point about a year into that. We were exhausted. Like nothing we were doing was going to make it any better. Like we were so far behind on bills that him working an extra day was truly not going to make that much of a difference. Do you know what I mean? Me working a couple of extra nights, which I was not making that much of a difference. It was just too many thousands of dollars for a couple of $100s to make a difference, if you get what I mean. And we were like, physically, we couldn't do anything else. Like we were so exhausted. I was really doing 3-4 nights that I wasn't sleeping from, like going out to work for a couple of hours, come back, baby wakes up, the day starts. And then not sleeping from the baby on the other nights. Do you know what I mean? So it just was like crazy times. And that was actually during those crazy times that when I decided that I needed to do something about it. So I went to an event similar to, I guess, the Adelaide Spectacular, which we have in January. It's a national event we have. And I went to a national event, which was on the Gold Coast at the time. And like I needed to go because I like was quite honestly hungry, as in like for more in life, but hungry as in I wasn't affording groceries for a very long time. So I was like both types of hungry, and I needed to go there to hear something that I could do something different with the business and just like sort myself out. And I did, and the business started to kind of change over and things. And it was as the business started getting some traction that Dan got made redundant from his job, and of which, by the way, his dad was the general manager. And we had just found out that we were pregnant with our second baby at this point. And Dan, and I mean, we obviously did learn our lesson anyway, but, and Dan had just upgraded his car the day before he walked into the office to be made redundant. So he just bought like a $30-something thousand car, and I didn't know it was on a loan. And the next day he goes to work, he got made redundant. So, and I'm pregnant with the second, like super early pregnant, like 4 weeks pregnant, like just found out. Anyway, so I actually just said to Dan, I said, I didn't even know how much he made, by the way, because we kept our bills separate. And I said, so how much do you even make in this full-time job? And he goes, oh, like after tax, probably like $3,600, $3,300. And I was like, cool, like I'm going to cover it. with Herbie. Like, I'm going to cover it. And we knew that we had about 2 or 3 months up our sleeve with the redundancy. That's all we got. It wasn't very much. So we only had about 2 or 3 months up our sleeve of like covering the bills that he had with the redundancy payment. And then that was it. It was going to be like more struggle town, right? So I knew that I could pick that up. I was like, $3,300 guys in Herbalife. We can retail that. We can wholesale that. But I knew that I was already on the path of growing the team. I had a goal that by the end of that pregnancy, I wanted to be what we call millionaire team in the company. It was just going to give us like that breathing space. And quite honestly as well, something I wanted to prove was at the time, well, in Australia anyway, from what I had seen, every time someone got pregnant, every time someone had life stuff going on, like all of a sudden their partners were now FIFO, or, you know, they were getting married, or like, do you know what I mean? Just life stuff. I noticed they disappeared. They honestly disappeared. Like they would be pregnant and then they're pregnant and I'd never hear from them again. I'd never see them again. And when you'd ask them what they're doing, they're being pregnant. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that just means couch time. But do you know what I mean? Like I saw everyone disappear when life was going on. So for me, I wanted to prove that you can still have life going on, AKA being a pregnant person or having a partner away or whatever it is, and still like grow your business or still kick goals yourself. Because I knew if I could hold the fort and like create a result out of the situation, then I knew that like at least someone who'd be in a similar situation would maybe see a little bit of hope or see that it can be done in their situation. So that was literally the focus. The whole pregnancy was like, this baby's coming out and you can't postpone that one. And so like move your butt. Now, when Dan got made redundant, that's when he really was like, well, I've got the time now to go full-time army type of stuff. So he was home, but then he was like going to South Africa to do more like military stuff and like just going everywhere. So I was kind of pretty much toddler, pregnant, trying to build a millionaire team business. And at the time, my Herbalife check, if it makes a difference in understanding the business, was $2,500. And that was February. And I had him in early September. And when I walked out of the hospital, it was just the timing, by the way. It wasn't on purpose, just the timing. I walked out of the hospital on the 15th of the month. And for those of you who know what that means, that's royalty day. That's when you get paid your royalties. And I remember just like, I was waiting for Dan to get the car and I was just waiting and I checked my check. Like I was like, oh, like how much did I make this like last month? And I logged in and I was like, ugh, and I made 17,400, you know, that like just came into my account. And I was like, what just happened? Right. You know, because that was only 6-7 months later. And I didn't hit millionaire team before I had him, but in hospital, I spent quite a long time there because I was a little bit sick, but in hospital, we did the first month of millionaire team. And then the second month and the third month. By the third month, the check went to like $28,000. And then it just kept growing and growing. A couple months later, so obviously I had a newborn on my hand. Dan was full-time military at this point. And the whole year that he was like full-time military, always away doing courses, always away doing this. You know what it's like, guys who've had military people, right? So they're always bloody doing something. And it was always away. And at that point, I now started traveling a lot because I was guest speaking a lot. And I was trying to do my cut to pres team. So I had a newborn and like the whole time he was a newborn up until 1 year old, I was in and out of cuts of what we call president's team for like the whole year. And then it got done. The president's team finished just before he turned 1 and just before I turned 25. And it was crazy because in the space of 18 months, the check went from $2,500. A year later, it was $25,000. 18 months later, it was $55,000. So it was like crazy because it happened all literally during pregnancy, newborn. And then, yeah, it was, and then even as pres team, he continued being full-time military up until about 2 or 3 years ago when he made the choice to kind of pull back on it. But every now and again, like last December, he went away for 4 months. Just because, like, he can't really, to be honest. And it's still a passion of his and all that kind of thing. But I guess the question I get asked a lot, and I don't know if it's one of Mark's, I'll let Mark ask me questions in case more comes out. But something people always like, I never considered myself a FIFO person. Do you know what I mean? Like a FIFO wife. I never considered myself that. So maybe that was a good thing, because I think sometimes when you consider yourself something, you kind of put yourself in what you're expected of that role. Like I never saw myself as that military wife that had to hold down the fort here. I know that sounds really harsh and really mean, because it's such a huge role. It's like ridiculous, the burden, right? But I guess I just went on with it. And for me, it's just like, there is a lot of chaos with dealing with kids and newborns and pregnancies, and then the person being away and the emotions that you have with them gone. But at the same time, for me, it's like, I have my dreams and ambitions and I just do what I can. Like I just go for it. It's not going to stop me. And I just don't class myself as to what a mum's meant to do or what this person's meant to, you know what I mean? Like I just don't think, I don't act the way that everyone else expects me to act. And I just go for it and just do what I can. Like, of course it can be super frustrating with those, I don't want to call it limitations, but with that circumstance of having, you know, a person in arms or kids and things. But I just think the one thing that probably has got me through the most was that goal I had during the second pregnancy, which was make a story out of the situation. Like there are a whole bunch of families out there, or, you know, that need that story of someone building a business during the similar situation, that you can be the one to show them that. So yeah, Mark, do you want to ask me questions? Maybe.
Well, just a couple of things, and then you can maybe just elaborate. I mean, obviously for me, I mean, I've known you for years and years and years, and we had great times together. But, you know, for me, it just blows me away. I mean, 3 boys, husbands away. Obviously, you obviously have a daily plan. You have to plan it. You have to schedule. Like yesterday, you're at kindy briefing and all that. I mean, how important is your planning of the week to make sure you do have the time to do your business, to do your workouts, to go to the gym, all the stuff?
Yeah, so if I could lift the computer screen to show you this desk, it's a friggin' mess. I'm getting so much better, Mark. You'd be so proud. But Dan, I'm sure you'd be better off sharing, Dan, what you think my organization's like. He calls it like, Dan, are you there? Yeah. Do you want to share what you...
Come on. Hey, Dan, show us your face, mate. Come on, don't be shy.
What am I sharing?
He asked like how important. Yeah, there you go.
A disaster. Like, she could have been a surgeon with the sort of handwriting she's got. At times she can't even.
I can't read my own writing. It's fine.
But I have that problem too.
It works, yeah. So like some people, I mean, him and Michelle are very similar, where they are like, if this was on the wall and it was like this, they would have a meltdown. They would just have to line it up before they walk out the door. Me, I'm like stuff everywhere, and it fully works for me. If I pack it away, it doesn't work for me. Like right now, the second I put away something like my little tracker of like how many clients and team and stuff that I want, like if that gets organized, I'll forget about it and I'll get to the next month and be like, oops, I didn't get anyone new. You know, like I have to have it out. It's just me. So I think you just find what way it operates for you. If you're super organized and that is what floats your boat, you do that. But this is what works for me, Mark. So I actually do it day by day. Like, of course, you know, if I know up front, okay, this week I have this, this, and this on certain days, of course, that's already in my diary. Usually the beginning of the month, I look at my diary and I kind of go, okay, what are things that I know is happening this month? For example, like we have success summits in Australia this month. So stuff like that I know is on monthly. But otherwise, it's pretty much like a weekly thing that I do at the beginning of the week, look at it and go, okay, when am I going to work out this week? And I kind of do that stuff as best I can. But then every day, I actually start my day, obviously, after I deal with kids jumping on me, telling me about how the other one hit them, and I do all that first. And then to be sane, I first start off with about 3 hot Herbie teas. Then I will do this. But I will literally just grab a scrap. Does anyone have these like little scrap paper things? And I honestly just go to town. So I will just write everything for the day. Like that's a common day for me. There's a lot, and that's not even everything really. But I just write everything that I know I need, want, have to do. Okay. And it could be something as well, like bills. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not only business, but I just put everything there. Then I number them, as you can see. See how I've like got numbers? And I number in the priority of what's going to move me ahead, because usually number one, I don't want to do. Number one is like, I don't want to do number one, or it's the one that like is actually the most important, like for the business, which is talking to new people, doing that stuff. So it goes, that's number one. Or at least I know that is the thing that I cannot not do today. Do you know what I mean? So I haven't done that yet today, by the way. I haven't done my most important thing yet for the day, but I have it scheduled in for this afternoon. I've actually written down like when to do it this afternoon. And I'm going to do it. Actually, my kids do hip hop dancing after school today. And that's when I actually do it, is I'm physically in front of a couple of people, but then I'm on my phone. I don't care if I'm on my phone in front of them, as long as I talk to them first and I like make some relationships, and then I'm doing my phone, talking to them, doing my phone, talking to them. So, because I do a lot of online stuff. So I talk to new people online as well as obviously in person. But
so can I ask just, because you told me you do a lot of your online stuff at literally midnight, because that's the only time you really got that the kids aren't around and it's quiet. I mean,
yeah.
So you literally do it whenever you fit it in.
Whenever. And like, I feel like, and this is probably not, well, this is just for me, yeah. But I think like for a lot of my Herbie career, I heard a lot of and I'm not sexist. I'm not, no. Please don't misunderstand me, guys. Okay. But I heard a lot of guys being the guest speakers, and I was so, because I'm like like I am a hard worker. I don't mind working hard. Do you know what I mean? So when they would say 90-day plans and like do the same day every day and all of that, I fully agree with it. I love 90 days, but I would then get so frustrated when I would go do the day. I'd half nail the first day, and it just wasn't like, being a mom, you can't literally be like, I'm going to be doing X, Y, Z at this time, because the next minute one's bashed their head, one's pooping, one's, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, now all of a sudden you got to go to the doctors, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's constantly you have to be able to like be agile. And I'm such a, like when I set my mind on something, and Dan can agree, I'm so stubborn. Like I'm like, no, it's happening. And then because the kids weren't allowing me to happen, I was like, ah! Like I was just yelling at them all the time, and I just couldn't handle. And then I really realized it. I was like, hold on, like I'm following guys who, no offense, were either didn't have kids themselves, or had wives that were at home being the stay-at-home moms. Do you know what I mean? So, and they were still able to do the business. So I was like I'm not that person. So what I learned was I have to kind of almost take it per week or per day, where I don't care what my day looks like. So yesterday I was at kindy orientation for half the day. I needed to go grocery shopping, blah, blah, blah. But I just find the time that I'm like, okay, when can I be most effective, and just fit it in today. Does that make sense? Because that way I feel like I've got such freedom, because I truly choose my day, but I still get it done. Do you know what I mean? So I don't feel like I'm missing out, and I also don't feel bad about working. I just do it when I can. And I think you just got to find what hours work best. Like if you're an early morning person, do it early in the morning. I'm more of I like to do it all day long, but I like to I find most people respond to me the most at nighttime, because they finish work, don't they? Like everyone is online at night. So I find I end up talking to the most people then.
So you've got your Go Herbalife website for your retail happening, and I know you've really done quite a lot of stuff with that. You obviously just talk to people out there in the streets. I mean, you've also got a centre of influence. I mean, a lot of your girlfriends who didn't get involved, do you go back to those people? Are they watching your lifestyle? I mean, what's happening in that area?
Yeah, so I went to town with people I know. Like, I did not have a problem with that at all. Like, I never had an issue with thinking, like, why wouldn't I tell them? Purely because that is actually the reason I said yes, was because she said, are you at your ideal weight levels? And I was like, no. And she goes, are you at your ideal energy levels? I said, no. And immediately I just thought about my sister, who was always calling us, like, always saying, I feel fat today, or I'm so tired. Like, everyone was always like, I'm so tired. And we'd always be hitting up Red Bulls. And, do you know what I mean? So the reason I actually saw the opportunity was not because of the testimonials. Like, I to be honest, it sounded really fuddy-duddy to me. Like, I don't know if you remember these, the decision packages and the CDs and stuff. And the whole thing was like too much for a young person, in the sense that the CD went for like 8 hours. And I skipped it, like, clearly. I literally skipped it and thought I'd get away with the next phone call with it. And then she bloody quizzed me. And I was like, oh, God, like, this is, it's like, I didn't watch that. I skipped it. Anyway, but it wasn't that. It was just the fact that she then said, like, what it was. And I immediately was like, oh, everyone around me complains. I'll just shut them up. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't think anything of it. I just kind of thought I'll shut the people around me up, And I'll tell you now, if you haven't kind of like, you don't want to be in their face. Like, you don't want to be putting them off. Something us distributors, we find it really hard to hold back, because we're so excited that we've just got to think of it like this. This is the best example I can give you, Mark, as to why I do. Like, when you're going to start being an entrepreneur in any field, let alone Herbie, this is the mindset I teach my guys to go into. So look at Starbucks, yeah? So everyone knows Starbucks, yeah? Yes? Okay. So you've got Starbucks, and then you've got the people who brew coffee at home. So Starbucks, the people that brew coffee at home, does that affect Starbucks' ability to still earn a profit? No. Like, of course they would do better, right, if the people came in. But they still have enough people globally that are wanting and willing to hand their money over for their product and service to be able to be successful. So what I mean by that is, just remember, all day long, people are paying for commodities. They're paying for services. They're paying for products. They're paying to eat. They're paying for stuff. Like, we pay for stuff all day long. So people are paying for things of value all day long. So if someone, to me, is not, maybe they think the timing's not right, maybe they think they can't afford it right now, maybe they think they have an alternative, aka they're the brewer right now, that's okay. It is not you. It's just right now they haven't seen the value of putting their money with your product or service. So that's the first thing. And the second thing with that is, if you truly feel like the products have made a difference for you, like, be honest, who on the call, like you like the flavor of the tea, or you feel like you've had a change on the products.
Yep.
Like, you love it.
Joe's lost 10 kilos. Michelle's lost 3, I think you said 2 or 3, looking to do 5. Dean's lost 25 kilos. Gary's down under 100 kilos. He's as fit as a fiddle. So we've all been impacted by the products.
Yeah, so you've been affected by the products. So think of this, guys. You've been affected by the products positively. So it's like a disservice to not let someone know what it's done to you if it could help them. So it's like, if you have someone, like a family member, that is like, I'm so tired, and for you have found something that's helped you the energy, it's like, how mean to not tell them, like, oh, like, I found something that's helped me with my energy. You don't have to say it like you're a friggin' catalog, but just like, it's a disservice not to let someone know about something that's affected you. So just think about, like, if you go to the hairdresser and you love your hair and someone gives you a compliment like, Joe, I love your hair color, I'd be like, and they go, I mean, who do you go to? I'm like, man, you need to see my lady. Like, she's awesome at doing hair. You just wouldn't have a problem doing that. So just do the same casualness to, you have found something for energy, that person's struggling, just let them know that you found something for energy. Don't make it any bigger than that. And again, either they will or they won't. It's okay, but just, it's a disservice to not let that person know. And also, you don't want this experience that happened to me, even though I did tell them. I actually sat them down and I did tell them. But I didn't have Facebook at the time. She didn't have Facebook at the time, and she left to go to Adelaide. And like 6-7 years later, I'm at the Adelaide Spectacular party, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and I like turned around, and it's this family friend that I have known since I was born. And she taps on my shoulder, and I'm like, I didn't invite you to this, and she got started in another team, and I was like, why? But it's because, like, do they really know? Do you know what I mean? Like, do they really, years later, do they really know that you still do it? Do they really know that you can help them? You know what I mean? So you don't want that experience where you get the tap on the shoulder from someone you've known since birth and be like, why the hell are you here? Because I didn't invite you. I was like, and I actually said that. I went, what the hell are you doing here? Not even hello. It was just like, and Dan was, it's just like, come on. Like, for those who know my humor, she was fine. She laughed. But yeah, so you like, just let them know. It's not going to be in their face. It's just like, it's now in their thought pattern. And that's it. Like, even the school mums, like, I think I've evolved a little bit where I used to be like, every single button was on my chest, every single Herbalife bag was on me, every water bottle, every cap, every legging and crop top, and and I'd rock up like the freaking billboard, which is fine. But I find now I just like, I mean, sometimes I'll hold this, but because they're on my Facebook, they know, like, you can't escape it on my Facebook in a good way. But, they know what I do. I remind them sometimes, you know what I mean? But I'm not like in their faces about it. And it's more just something that I've been teaching recently, Mark. It's more about looking at the people around you, both online and in person, and ask yourself, what is it that they're wanting in their lives when it comes to health and fitness? Actually write that, like, what is it that they want and what are their challenges? What are their top 3 challenges towards that field, health and fitness? Like, what is the top 3 challenge that you think the people around you have when it comes to starting a health and fitness journey? Is it money? Is it that, do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? What are their challenges? Why? Are they not motivated? So I actually never really attend mum stuff other than like my friends who are mums. I mean, like the school mums, they don't usually talk to me. But this age group with my middle child, randomly, they talk to me. I'm always smiling. I've always been nice, but they actually told me when they were drunk one night why they didn't talk to me. But and I was like, it was so awkward. Anyway, but so I went on a little Friday night drinking session with them. I'm not a big drinker, so I was sloshed in like 5 seconds. But I actually was like, I'm going to listen, because to be honest, I don't think for a while I've listened to people's challenges. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think we know what they want. But then I was like, I never had these challenges as a mum because I had the products the whole time. So I just like listened and I just heard all this stuff they were sharing, like how they feel as well money-wise about having, like they've gone from careers to now they're at home, and now like they have to ask their husbands for money and how that makes them feel as a person. And I was like, oh, because again, I've always just, I've been in hospital working. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never asked for money. So I just, do you know what I mean? Like, listening to all of that and understanding how that would feel. And all of them just seem to tell me every time I rock up to school, I'm like the resident let's talk to her about fitness stuff. So they just come up to me and they're like, talking about mum stuff, and then with me all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm like so not motivated to exercise. And I'm like, okay, like, hi, and I started listening and I realized that money was a big deal to them, as in they don't think they have money to start something like gyms, programs, like health and fitness things, or to be healthier. Motivation is something they're lacking. They're just not motivated to eat healthy. They're not motivated to exercise. And just what are the challenges with people around you? So if you are, more mature, you've got different challenges to, say, a 20-year-old. Do you know what I mean? There's different challenges, right? So just think about the people that you surround yourself with. What are their challenges? And then what are your beliefs? So when it comes to health and fitness, this is what I do, Mark, and you'll notice it now on my social media that I've said this, is I'm like either catering, you'll see that I'm either touching on a challenge without saying this is a challenge. I touch on a challenge of people like about health and fitness or about entrepreneurship, like, joining the team, or I'm talking about a belief of mine towards that. So for example, what I mean by that is, what are my 3 core beliefs about health and fitness right now? Because they change. So don't be settled on it. Like, it'll change, because I wasn't a mum so my audience was different a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Like I was dealing with people clubbing and university students. Now I deal with mums more. So like the challenges change too, right? But what are my beliefs about health and fitness? What do I believe when it comes to the products and working out and all that? What's my beliefs? So for me, just sharing, my beliefs are simplicity. Like I can't believe that you throw this down your throat and you've got a meal, you know, like just, I don't have to think. It's just so simple. Another belief of mine is just doing it, like commitment, just do it. That's just a belief of mine. You know, so what are your beliefs towards health and fitness as well as the business? So one of my beliefs with the business is commitment, like just do it. And another belief of mine is that I truly believe that you can do it all. I truly believe that you can be the wife, the mom, the dad, the whatever, the business person. I truly believe that you can do it all. So,
Hey, Dan, if you can just mute those guys. Sally.
So you'll notice, like, so Mark, the reason I'm sharing that, and I hope that is of benefit to you guys, but I'm either touching on that or that. Like I'm either touching on a challenge or I'm touching on a belief system of mine with regards to the products, health and fitness, and then the business entrepreneurship. And as a result of that, I'm attracting them instead of necessarily having to chase them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like yesterday, I on my social media stories, for those who know what that is, I was talking about the tea, and one of our clients shared how much money she saved in the last 3 weeks from switching from coffees to our tea. So I just shared her, like the client's comments on my stories, and everyone always sees me on my stories making a cup of the Herbie tea. So it's a common thing that I share all the time is me making the tea, me making the tea, me making the tea. And then I shared this, and the second I got to school pickup, one of the school mums who, you know, has chatted to me here and there about stuff, she just goes, right, like give me info on this tea. So do you know what I mean? It's like they're coming to me instead of me having to be in their faces at the school pickup.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Okay, we're just about coming up to time, but there's a couple of things we've got in New Zealand and Australia. We've got a lot of things coming up in the last 60 days of the month, as you know. In Australia, we've got the Success Summits on the 23rd. You're not going to believe this, Joanna. We've got Caroline Willero going into Christchurch to do an STS.
Oh, we could.
Then we got me going in December. We're going to do a goals workshop and all other stuff. And then obviously we've got Spectacular in January. And a lot of the guys on the call have heard from me. I keep talking to them. Can you maybe just quickly spend a couple of minutes on the importance of attending the events and why, the importance of having team members in those events because of the duplication and the multi-level structure, and you know, how your team is actually built by the more people you've got into those events. And getting back to what you were saying before, just quickly tell them your sister took quite a while to get involved, didn't she? But now she's right up there, you know, making zillions of dollars, looking absolutely gorgeous like you. It's a pretty nice feeling to have your sister working with your sister and being successful as well.
Yeah, so there was a lot there, Mark. So look, with events, there's a few things. Like we all need to have another influence to teach us something we don't yet know. Like something, and those who, I'm sure you've read the books by John Maxwell about leadership. Yeah, John Maxwell, if anyone knows John Maxwell, he does a leadership book that I was always recommended in the Herbie world. And he's got a new one called Leader Shift. And he's talking about, with the way society moves nowadays, guys, like how fast does everything like happen nowadays? Like it's getting faster and faster with technology and communication. Everything is just getting, like, society is changing so much faster. It's a stat. It's not a belief. It's an actual statistic that you used to get like new information every 2 years or something like this. Then it was every year. Then it was every 6 months recently. And then it's going to be like every day that you're going to be given something different that used to take you 2 years to find out, right? So life is changing. So with that, as a leader and a business person, you have to be agile and you have to adapt and change. So you have to be on the game. Like, it used to be 10 years that you would set a long-term plan, right? Like you would say my long-term goal is 10 years away, right? My midterm 5, short-term 2. 2 is too long now. Like 1 is too long. That's a long-term goal now because of how fast things move. So with that, you have to be able to keep up with the trends, the leadership things, like just constantly being on the game. So that's why it's important, because every 3 months you really need to be going, where is the shift I have to be making in my leadership right now? Where's the shift I have to make in a business tool right now? Because life is changing so fast, there's going to be something new all the time. So that's why I personally take going to the events, because especially when it comes to speakers that are not, that are international speakers, because like the Americans are well and truly onto this kind of trend. They get it. They get to move. They change really, so the fact that we do have 2 Americans who understand changes, who are the fastest growing in North America, guys. Like some of you, I don't know if you follow Fit Couple, but everyone kind of follows them. But these guys are the #1 royalty growth in North America. Trey and Mamie are like the most down-to-earth people you will ever meet. It really gobsmacked me. I spent some time with them a couple months ago in Byron Bay, and it just like gobsmacked me. Like they're so friggin' nice. And they've actually they've gone from like, if you don't know the words, just understand the difference in numbers, right? They've gone from 15K, I think they were 1 diamond a year ago, to being like 7 diamonds, 70K as of this month. What just happened, right?
70K just in royalties, guys. That's without bonuses. That's without, Mark Hughes bonus, what they're going to get in March. I mean, it's just outrageous. And they're coming to be at our spectacular to train us. It's just incredible.
Yeah. So they have understood like shifting, and he did some really full-on work, by the way. He was not trying to be a Navy SEAL, but he went and did the SEAL Hell Week. And like he trained with SEALs for ages to mentally get himself to a place. And he'll probably share some stuff from that. So, and it was unreal. Like it was just, when he shared some of this, it was so unreal. Like I can't wait for Dan to get in front of him, because I just took myself to yeah. And I was like, damn, like I wish I knew he was going to be so military about everything. So if you do have anyone military as well, like get them in front of him, because he really, his whole influence, the reason why his mindset changed the last 5 years is all military, like comes from the military. Anyway, so that is truly why it's an investment to be in to be onto it, to be onto the times, and you changing and you making sure that you make the little tweaks in your leadership and your mindset. And obviously the second part is obviously the team thing. Like it's dealing with children, basically. They don't listen to you. Like my parenting skill is, of course, I try my best, but I usually just put them in front of someone else who's going to say what I want them to say, but someone else is saying it. And then all of a sudden your kids listen and you're like, yeah, I was trying to tell you that a million times. So, team is like that, where they do respect you and everything, but they just tend to listen to other people more. So it's like dealing with your children who've been giving you tantrums for years and you've had enough. You've got to drag their asses to the therapist, to the event, and let the event do the job for you. But the event is like truly what has, like every time the jump in the team happens, it's always to do with the event. And I guess I didn't have anyone to follow when I was personally growing the business. Like there wasn't many people growing at the time in Australia in those levels. So I didn't really have anyone to talk to about what did I actually have to do. Like I didn't know what I was meant to do to get to the next level. So when they told us a couple of numbers, they were like, if you bring this many people, usually a couple months later, you'll be this level. And if you bring this many, you know what I mean? So I hung on to that. I was like, I'm going to do these numbers and that's all I know because they said it works. I'm going to give it a go. And it actually to a T were the exact numbers for my levels. So I had about it wasn't the exact ones. They say you have 10 people attend the spectacular to go to that global expansion team level. I didn't quite have 10. I had 6. Okay, but we still did it. And then millionaire team, they say to have 30 total in your 3 levels. And I can't remember what it is. Oh, front line. Sorry, first line to 8 and then 30 total. Okay. I had 12 front line and 35 in my 3 levels. My other levels, so altogether, we actually had 50, but 35 in the 3 levels, we did millionaire team, right? And then Perez team, they said 12 first line and 50 in your 3 levels. I had 12 front line and we had 100 total. So, and we did Perez. So the numbers are fully work. So for me, that's kind of that. And to actually just have fun. Like, I know I'm big on the training. I'm big on, evolving. I'm big on all the serious stuff. But for those who know me, and Mark definitely knows this about me, is I like to party. Like, I did not get involved to not have fun with my life. Like, I need to party. I need to have fun. And so does everyone else. Like, all of you need to let your hair down. You need to just have like a moment where you can forget the freaking worries of life. Seriously, like, forget the issues you're having with the husband. Forget the issues with the mother-in-law. Like, forget the issues at work. Forget the bills that you forgot to pay. Like, just forget it all and just honestly just to have a moment where you just don't have to think about anything but just having fun. And I think that's something that's like pulled me along the last few years when I've gone through hard times, is like, just have some fun. And I think with the team as well, everyone's going through so many different things, and coming together and actually just having a good time together is what's like bonded our relationships more. And my sister, that's how I got her to come to the event. So my sister hated Herbalife, like, loved the products, but said awful things about her way of saying no to joining the team. Was not a no. It was like, they're a bunch of losers, like, you're a loser for doing it. Like, so, like, she would go to town, let me tell you, on how to tell me how it's not attractive what you do, like, just constantly. And I finally got her along to a goal setting event, Mark. So like what probably Mark's going to do, it was Kim Bromer. It's a very similar person, right, to Mark, right? And she said she was going to come because I thought, you know what, she's not come to anything yet. She didn't come to any of my recognitions. She never came to anything. I tried all different angles with her, nothing. So I knew she liked goal setting though. So I was like, cool, like, just come to this. It's not a Herbie thing. Like, okay, we might mention it, but it's like a goal setting thing. And she tried to cancel, and you don't even want to know the excuse I got. Let's just say she had a botched waxing job in an area that was very sensitive. And I got a photo that Daniel opened by accident as to the botched job evidence, okay? And I was like, I don't care. I will apply aloe gel wherever needed. I am picking you up right now. Only a sister can. I would say that to someone else, right? And I dragged her botched him to the thing, and she actually got started. But she refused to come to an event, like refused. She was like, I don't want to talk to any other loser other than you. So this was what I got from it. So I'm not going to those stupid events. Don't even try put me on the phone to anyone. Like, I'm not doing it. And I was like, what? And then literally just one day I said to her, you know what? I've been a mum forever since my adult life. You are working all the time. We never holidayed as kids together. We've never gone out as kids together, like on a holiday or anything. It's not a holiday, but just come with me. Let's have a girls' weekend. There's going to be a party on the Saturday night. You can pretty much eat and drink your money's worth of your event ticket at the party, and that got it. Like, just that you could eat and drink your event ticket money worth. She was in, and she did that, by the way. But she rocked up, and even then I really didn't think she would stay at the event because we were rooming with my best friend, and she was trying to like get my best friend to not rock up to the event. She's like, let's just go shopping. Like, don't even worry about these silly people. Like, let's just go shopping. And I actually dragged her into the bathroom, because my friend was there. I was like, you shut up. She was like, what? Okay, you shut up. Like, it's taken me years to get here. Like, you shut up. If you want to go shopping, but don't ruin this for me. She was like, calm down. I'm like, okay. And the next morning, the event was on. And the reason I'm sharing this is it's all very important. And when you hear my sister tell the story, you will know the real story. So I kept telling my girlfriend and her, guys, I've got VIP seating. I know you don't know what that means, but it just means that I don't have to queue up and stuff. Like, I can show up whenever I want. Like, you guys really, to get some seats, you need to go a little bit early because it's going to be a big queue. Like, and they were like, nah, we'll go with you. And I was like, okay, but I'm just giving you a warning what it's like. There's a lot of people. You're going to have to be on the stampede, that kind of thing. So we get there and the doors open. Everyone's like start the car, like elbowing each other to get in. And my sister's like, gay. My sister's like, losers. She's like, just, what the hell is wrong with these people? Okay. Because she saw me calm and collected, and because obviously I was VIP, so I could be calm and collected. And I start walking into the VIP and she starts following me, and I'm like, and she starts coming in, and the security guard was like, because she didn't have the lanyard, for the area. And she had pissed me off so much, guys. Like, you've got to remember, she was trying to convince my best friend, who I finally brought to an event, to not just go shopping. So that bugged me at that point. And I was actually newly pregnant by one day, which I didn't know at the time. So the hormones were going. I was pissed off with my sister, okay? So I literally turned around to her and I was like, yeah, that's right. And I just was like, shoot, off you. Yep, that's it. Yep, over there at the back, go. And because I'd had enough, I was like, yep, that's right, go. And she was like, oh. And she starts walking off to the crowd, and I just go sit on the lounge, right? And quite honestly, I had to stop myself, because a few times throughout the training, I was actually thinking, she's gone. Like, there's no way she's still sitting here. She can't stand the clapping. She can't, there's no way she's still sitting in this training. She's gone shopping for sure. And I had to stop myself and go, no, you're here for you, you're here for you. Anyway, the break comes at lunchtime. She walks up to me. So I'm already like poker face time, because I was like, she's still here. What the hell's going on today? And then I'm like, yes. She's like, so then I'm bracing myself for the worst thing that's going to come out of her mouth. Okay. I'm bracing myself to hear everything that's wrong with it. Now she's out, never invite her again. Like, I was bracing myself for the worst, I think. And she says to me, so like, I pretty much just have to build a team. And the poker face had to really restrain herself over here, because I wanted to be like, oh, she gets it. But I instead just held back, and I was like, yes, you do. Now I'm going to lunch now, like, walk off. And my sister then 6 months later did global expansion team. And now she's get 2.5. So on her way to millionaire team. She hasn't been back to work ever since. And so, that's what got her, was telling her she could eat and drink the event tickets worth. So the reason I share that, guys, is when you're inviting people to come to anything, to Mark's goal setting, to anything, don't invite the same to everyone. Like, pick pieces that would relate better to that person, and just, invite them on the fun stuff for them, and get them there though, because she was never going to say yes to me, like, ever. And it's funny because I don't know how much money now, but for example, with Michelle Sharp, who was my 6th level to me, 6 levels down, I brought one girl to that same spectacular as my sister. She's not around anymore, but that one girl is the one that led me to Michelle Sharp's organization. And Michelle Sharp's organization has now turned over, since that Adelaide event, has turned over $12 million, right? And my profit from that organization who came to that event in the last 5 years has been $700,000 in royalties, my profit, just from one piece of the team that came to the Adelaide Spectacular. Like, I never thought that bringing someone in, because what's that? 5 years divided by 700,000, that's over $100,000 just from bringing that one person to that Adelaide Spectacular.
Awesome.
Huge. Yeah.
So the next event is in a couple of weeks. We got Caroline. I know you know Caroline very, very well. She's got the two little ones as well, so that's going to be fantastic. So, guys, look, we're just about out of time. Has anyone got? I asked a few questions. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Joanna before we all head off? Feel free. She doesn't bite. As you can tell, she does talk underwater. Michelle, do you want to ask any questions, or you're cool?
Dean, you're muted.
No, this is your full-time job?
Well, full-time, yeah.
And you're still doing it around the kids, obviously, from what you explained to us.
Yeah, I'm like more excited now. I'm doing more now.
Dean, Joanna, Barbara, Christy, Eddie, Frenzy, Grace, Joe.
We can hear you, Ali. Hey, so Joanna, we several people that are brand spanking new on the call tonight who may not even have an experience of the product yet. And I know, gosh, for the people who have been involved for a little while, what you've shared is just absolutely magic and gold. There's some real gems here for us. Could I get your take on, if I was brand spanking new, looking at us tonight for the first time, what would your call be in terms of how did you get started? How would you get started? What would you do right now? What would you do next?
So I call them business starters, and it depends what you guys have on offer in your organization. If you run any challenges, do you guys run any challenges, or like body transformation?
Not yet. Not yet.
You're muted.
I am.
Yeah. No, we haven't started those yet, but we're very close to starting.
Okay, yeah, cool. So when that does kick in, that could be a business starter, right? So for example, I just teach the team that there's different styles for your personality. So if you're the type of person that likes gatherings, do you know what I mean? Like you don't mind having a barbecue, you wouldn't mind having people over for a cup of tea, like, do you know what I mean? Or a beer, whatever. You are probably a person that would do really well starting off and having a little launch, a little like gathering, just to share, just have fun, just like literally catch up like a barbecue, do a barbecue, you know what I mean? But just also you can sample the products and let them know, you know, what's been happening and a little bit about the products. For me, I keep it really simple nowadays, and I just choose 4 products that, or a program that you guys choose to, whatever you in your organization tend to recommend as the products for people to start on, just talk about that. You know, I have 4 products that I recommend to people to get started. So I just talk about those 4 products and I sample 2 of them. So it's just super simple, like just share results and just talk about whatever program that you're offering, right? And just catch up with people, have a barbecue, like literally put on a barbecue if you want to put on a barbecue, or have a beer, like whatever. I've done all sorts of different launches. But if you're the type of person that likes gatherings, that would be a great business starter for you. My recommendation is you'd need to invite 40 people like you would to invite 40 people to a barbecue. Don't make it anything else. Just invite 40 people like you would to a barbecue. And remember, not everyone's free for the barbecue, and some will cancel last minute to the barbecue. You know, I had people say they were coming to my birthday party recently, even an hour before it. They're like, I'm on my way. They never showed up. It's just life. It's people. It's not Herbie. Do you know what I mean? Because my party wasn't a Herbie party. It was like my actual birthday party. So does that make sense? Like everyone does that. So just expect that will happen too. Another business starter that we teach is, for example, could be challenges, or it could be if you have an online community or a physical community, but you just have something where people need that kickstart into a journey. Yeah, they want that kickstart into losing weight, or they want that kickstart into energy or whatever, inviting them onto stuff like that. And we teach them again, 40 people, invite them to kickstart the journey. You know, does anyone do social media?
There's a few people just doing bits of it.
Yeah. So, you know, sharing that stuff on social media. Again, like I shared before about the attraction stuff, share either a challenge or a belief system, And something that I did not do on purpose, it was just because of our challenge, we were having so many before and afters happening. I just was sharing them because there were so many coming through at one point. And I've noticed that is why I'm getting the best results recently, is about every 3 or 4 posts that I do, it's a before and after. It's a result. And do you know what that does, guys, is when someone looks at your profile, they can see what you do. Like, if you think about it, there's like a photo of you, or a garden or whatever is in your life. And then every 3rd or 4th photo is a before and after. When you are someone who's never met you before, does not know what you do as a job, they're not going to understand what you do just because there's photos of you. That's not visually, that doesn't tell them what you do. But visually, if you have like a before and after every 3 to 4 posts, they visually can see, oh, she helps people with results. Like, anyone can pick that up subconsciously, right? So that's another thing as well, or team photos, or do you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. So,
and lifestyle as well.
Yeah. So again, I work on I've changed how I do it. Like, I used to think that, and it does, but I used to, like, a good example, who likes the movies? Who likes going to the cinema? The movies, like, yeah? I love the movies. It's my thing. So I would go to the movies, say with my kids or without them, whatever, and I would post, like, you know, at the movies, seeing John Wick or like whatever. And I assumed, and it is a little bit, but I assumed that people, like, it was a lifestyle post. Does that make sense? That I can go to the movies in the middle of the day, or that I can take my kids to the movies regularly. That shows that I have the extra income. Like, I just assumed that was showing lifestyle. But it doesn't necessarily relate to the person on the other side who's having a challenge with money, or having a challenge with time, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So how I've changed it is, instead of just being like, I'm at the movies seeing John Wick, I would either frame, I'm at the movies, but frame it to either touch on a challenge or touch on a belief system towards the business. So if in the movie there's a wicked quote that's about, like, just getting it done, or persisting, or does that make sense? Like, something to do with that part of the movie, I will share. You'll notice if you go look on my social, you'll notice this now. Like, so I'll be like, say I went to John Wick, or actually a better one was Hobbs and Shaw, right? When I went to Hobbs and Shaw, and it was me, my eldest son, and Dan, my husband. And so we had a photo of us at Hobbs and Shaw, and I said, perfect movie for the 3 of us, because it was all about like never giving up. So all that most people will see is me at the movies from that post, won't they? They're not going to read into it, but people subconsciously now know a belief of mine is just to not give up. So what that does is it allows me to attract people who have the same beliefs as me, and that builds rapport. That also allows me to bring on people that are similar to me, that are going to go the mile and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Like, I'm attracting people that I want, the actual people that I want to come into the business are coming into the business. I'm not, because the reason I'm sharing that and the reason I changed it was because for about 2 years, Mark, I had a whole bunch of people start with me, but they all quit. And I was over it. I'll be honest, I was completely over it. I was like, I am not a quitter. So why on earth am I getting a bunch of quitters? Does that make sense? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And then I realized it's because I was not attracting, like, that was just attracting everyone. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really attracting anyone who really knew who I was, who had the same beliefs as me. And of course, you will attract everyone. Absolutely. This business is for everyone. But at least now, because I've tailored the way that I communicate with people, I am finding people who are that step up a notch in the same belief system as me. And it's way more fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All righty. Great. Okay, guys, look, unfortunately, we've run out of time. She's got to go pick up kids from school, take them to
Fun.
dance. Bebop. So on behalf of everybody in New Zealand and Australia, thank you so much, Joanna, for taking the time out to invest a bit of your life and your life experience into ours. We really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure every single one of the guys on the call tonight will be busting to come up and meet you in January in Adelaide, get the photo, meet your negative, gorgeous sister, okay, and get the photo and get the real story, and just have a great time. So, again, thanks, everybody, for your time. And don't forget, 2 weeks from now, We got Caroline coming in. It's going to be an incredible STS. We'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for your time, Joanna.
Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being on the call, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for organising it.
Hey, cheers.